So I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to do a roundup of some books I've read recently that I've really enjoyed, and I'm going to do it as a garden tour. It's very atmospheric and it's full of magic rituals and teenagers going off to cause chaos in the woods, and everything Moira writes has this really incredible vibe that just makes you feel like you're there. Here's the final cover, and this one's out in June. The next book is one I finished just last night, and it is the Guggenheim mystery by Robin Stevens. This is a sequel to the London Eye mystery by Siobhan O'Dowd, as she died sadly before she could write any more books in the series. The next book is We Are Okay by Nina LaCour, which has the most amazing cover I have ever seen. Look at that. So this is a contemporary YA. It's about grief and loss and loneliness. Tells the story of a girl who is raised by her grandfather and who dies just before she goes to university, and over the Christmas holidays she decides to stay alone in her dorm rather than face going to her hometown without him being there. It's very tender and full of grief and emotion in every page, and I cried a lot. The next book is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This is an incredible story based on the Black Lives Matter movement, about a girl whose best friend is shot by a police officer and the aftermath of facing up to that. Star is one of the best protagonists I've read about in a really long time, and I would love a sequel about more of her story because she really got to me. It particularly focuses on how black people interact in black and white space. The next book is Foolish Hearts by Emma Mills. This is a contemporary YA set in an American high school about a girl who overhears a breakup between the it couple in her school, one of whom is a very prickly girl called. She ends up having to work with Iris on the school play, and they end up becoming reluctant friends, and there's a romance in there as well. Emma writes the most amazing, witty, dry dialogue I've ever read, and I love her. Next up is When the Moon Was Ours by Anna Marie McLemore. This is another magical realism like Spellbook of the Lost and Found. This is set in the South in America, and it's about a couple of childhood friends, a Pakistani trans boy and a Latina girl who seems to have been born from a pumpkin with a rose growing out of her hand. The story revolves mainly around their relationship, but it's told in lots of metaphorical plots about the magic of their world, and it's a really mystical and magical, dreamy sort of prose that you can get lost in, and I really enjoyed. Next up are a few that I read on my Kindle. First we have All About Mia by Lisa Williamson. This is a UK YA about a middle child who constantly feels a bit abandoned. She feels overlooked by her parents, who focus mainly on her overachieving younger and older sisters. And when her older sister gets pregnant, it starts a lot of drama in her life. The next is another that I read really recently. That's When Dimple Met Rishi by Sandhya Menon. And this is a story of an arranged marriage between two Indian Americans, and I'm hiding under a tree. So they meet at a coding camp, and the boy Rishi knows that they are in an arranged marriage. The girl Dimple does not, and she reacts very strongly, and then they start to form an attachment regardless. This was very, very, very cute. It went a bit off the rails at the end. I felt like they tried to fit too much into too many little chapters, but the start was so cute, and I love the setting of female. This is another one by a friend of mine, One Italian Summer by Kerry Stainton. This is set in Italy when a UK family go on holiday for the first time since their father died. It's about three sisters and how they deal with grief. It's really romantic and really sad and heartbreaking at the same time, and it's the perfect summer read. And look at that cover quote, goals. I'm making my dog stand outside in the rain and she hates me for it. Okay, next one, Windfall by Jennifer E. Smith. This is about a boy who wins the lottery with a ticket that was given to him by his friend for his birthday, and about how they both deal with the wealth that's been thrown upon them at a very young age. There's a lot of fun and also a lot of talk about social responsibility and inheritance from your parents. It's really good. I really should have done this one first because it was amazing. This is Binti by Nnedi Okorafor, and this is a futuristic sci-fi. It's a short story, it only took me like half an hour to read, about a African on the new planet. Her cultural traditions are treated rather oddly. On the journey there on the spaceship, there's an attack by an alien race and she ends up saving the day. There's also a sequel to this one, Binti Home. I've read that one too. That's another short story. It tells the story of the first time she goes home after living on this university planet and sees her family again. Really strong series, and I hope she writes a full-length novel. I really preferred this to Simon. I found the main character a lot stronger and she was very relatable. She has some great hobbies. She's got queer parents. She has a really cute romance. It's just really good. It's a really quick read, but I really enjoyed that. Last one for now, which is good because my hands are starting to hurt. This is an American YA about a girl who's about to get deported and she falls in love with a boy she meets in New York on her last day. There's a lot of diversity. He's Korean, she's Jamaican. I also love how different their personalities were. One of them's really poetical, one of them's really scientific and logical, and how they interact was really great. And it actually worked. I didn't think it would work having them fall in love in one day, but it... Okay, that is all my books for today. I hope you enjoyed this little experiment into a new way of reviewing. I'm probably going to do this on Instagram stories once a month and then upload it to YouTube. I think it would be really cool to see how the garden changes over the course of a year. Thanks, helicopter!